MFs. Hustle like you broke. Still doing it. 30 episodes in. It's been a fun ride so far. Started back in mid-April. It was actually the week between the Coachellas, what was intended to be the Coachellas, that is, that we started this thing. And turns out I haven't done a live gig since. Not sure about my associates today, but we figured this would be a good opportunity to bring it back home to the core four, talk about what we've been up to during this phase 3. At least it's phase 3 here in Massachusetts, where I live, outside Boston, and our resident tech support, who lives a couple hours west of here. Not quite sure what phase that they are in down in Miami, Florida. Perhaps Dallas can tell us a little bit about that in a while. Perhaps Chris and Kyle can catch us up on what stage they're in out in California. I'm not convinced of what these stages mean anymore. I call this one Malazed and Confused because there's just so much unknown and shit. For all I know, we're going backwards before we go forwards. But for the most part in the Northeast, things are going okay. Doesn't mean we're ready for live entertainment. Doesn't mean we're ready for audiences with sports. All I know is, talked a lot about politics in these last few episodes after promising I never would. But the truth of the matter is, we have become a fucking fascist state. And shit pisses me off. So fuck it. Gloves are off. I'm talking about it. Our president is a fucking fascist. His followers are the worst of humanity. And fuck them. We got an election coming up. I hope everyone's registered to vote. I hope everyone gets to the polls. I hope we can turn this shit around. Because if we don't, sure doesn't speak well for our industry. Half my clients are international. People I talk to these days, every conversation starts with, shit, it's fucked up over there. You okay? It's not exactly what I'm used to experiencing. And of course, they're right. Because most of them can freely go wherever the fuck they want to go. And yeah, they wear masks because they're fucking responsible humans. There isn't this bullshit like there's a fucking hoax going on, like it's a big fucking conspiracy. They're just trying to get back to living. And no, music festivals aren't happening there either. But they're leaps and bounds ahead of us. And best of all, for them, their mortality rates are better. Their deaths from this fucking virus are much lower. I cited a report on an episode last week. I don't even remember the numbers. This shit. I mean, it just. I don't know. At this point, it goes in one ear and one out the other. All I know is we're over 150,000 deaths, and whether that's result of fucking spikes, like Kyle likes to talk about, or not talk about, or fuck with us about. Nothing, Kyle? Nothing? You don't have anything?
Well, I'll say this. With regards to spikes and all that stuff, yes, we do. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a spike, but we do have a lot more people reporting that they're having issues with the COVID-19. So could they have already had it? Now it's just now showing up? Possibly. I don't know, but I just know this much. all you gotta do is wear your damn mask, and we'll be good. And just stay apart. I mean, I don't see why it's such a problem. People saying that you're infringing on their rights. No, you're just trying to keep you and everybody else from catching something that could potentially kill you. So I don't see why there's such a problem in wearing a mask. Is it uncomfortable? Yes, it's uncomfortable, but you just rock it when you're around people, and then when you get back in your car, you take it off. But I see people rocking it when they're in their cars by themselves. That's silly. But if you're in a grocery store, convenience store, anytime when you're around some people you don't necessarily know, rock a mask and we'll be good. But people want to be bullheaded and saying that this is not American, is this and that and the third. They're a bunch of idiots.
There it is. All you non-mask wearing motherfuckers are a bunch of idiots. You heard it from the source.
Put the
So
damn
with
mask on. We can get back to making money, get back to having a good time until they figure this stuff out. But I mean, come on, man. This is absurd. I mean, you can't go anywhere with you can't go anywhere and just enjoy life anymore. Just put a damn mask on and stuff would ease up, and then life would be not what it was, but you at least have a life. I mean, to say you can't even go get, I mean, and it's funny with even with a haircut or pedicure or something like that. Those are the most sanitary places in sanitary places period, because that's what they, in order to even get a license you have to be up on all the safe sanitary stuff, because you are dealing with people in their personal space, hair, nails and all that stuff, digging in the nail beds, yada yada yada. So they have to be up on the cleanliness. So for them to even get shut down, you can't even get your normal grooming because people are too stupid to put on a freaking mask and go get your shit done. So I mean, it's just whack. I'm over it. I want to get back to some source of not even normalcy, some sense of being able to live. I mean, and me personally, I don't fuck with people. So this social distancing is me anyway. I don't like to people be too close to me. If I don't know you, don't come holler at me, don't dap me down. Okay, how you doing? Good, good, good. But just as a rule, I don't. You know me, Matt. I don't hang around a lot of people like that. I keep a low profile, stay out the way. I greet you, I say, hey, how you doing? But I'm not all chummy chummy with everybody just on a random. So this social distancing is my normal, but the fact that I can't even go to my 10 a.m. movie theater and have the theater to myself and watch a movie dead center, I'm weakened by it. That's a wrap. I'm irritated.
I mean, that all rings true to me. I'm trying to picture you getting yourself a mani petty.
No, I
I'm
get a petty.
struggling.
No manny. No manny. Just petty. Gotta keep your feet right.
Fair enough.
When you're standing up, mixing, trying to balance out audiences, you got to keep your groove. If your feet aren't balanced, you got to sit down, and the mix doesn't feel the same when you're sitting down versus standing up.
There's two good pieces of advice from a world class audio engineer. So all you aspiring front of house people out there, keep that in mind. Well, I mean, I don't even remember if I had anything more in my intro that I wanted to say today. I think I already told everybody to just get to the fucking poll. So I'm going to leave it at that. And Kyle, since you're already engaged in conversation, let's talk about you for a minute. I want to catch up with everybody. I want to give everybody an opportunity to tell us what they've been working on. We're all hustlers here. Some of us been working more than others. Some of us been, just taking that family time, taking advantage. But I know you've been working. So for our listeners, tell us what you've been doing.
Well, during this communication, I've been doing a lot of what I call hallelujah work, which is uh, keeping the church services live stream up to par. I mean, we record multiple services on any given Saturday to be uploaded the following Sundays, and just pretty much homing back in on the studio chops, because even though you're not mixing the service live, you are mixing it live for rebroadcast at a later date. So you still give it that same element of what's happening in the moment, so you don't make it perfect. You got to still leave it a little greasy, you know. So between doing that, I've done a few things for that were televised that miraculously came off without a hitch. The BET Awards, I did that, which was kind of awesome. That came off real good this year.
Very
Uh,
well, very well. Shout out to Jesse Collins and his team. That actually was very well put together, and definitely a model for what an event of that nature in a virtual space can be, and how to think different about doing things well. But I apologize for cutting you off. Please
no, it's
proceed.
all good. I mean, that thought pattern that they did was they thought completely outside the box, and everybody was in their own environment, but yet they made it one in the end. So that's what made it such a dope experience, because you have all these different sites, different content. I mean, nothing was done in the same vicinity. So it was all over the place, but yet still gave it a cohesiveness that trend that and it came off very well for the general public. I was also engaged with we did the what was the other thing that I did? It was the oh my gosh, Global Citizen. Did that as well. That came off real good. Did that with Usher, and on the BT where I did that with an artist named D Smoke. But nonetheless, the television world has been a lot different, because again, you're doing it in a sound stage, and you have to act as if you're rocking in front of thousands of people. So you're playing to yourself, but you have to have that mental thought pattern as if you have thousands of people screaming and yelling. So it's a kind of a mind fuck per se, but nonetheless, once you get into that zone, you really have to like go into your imaginary side of yourself to bring that out, to make it like you're doing XYZ in front of all these people, which you're only doing it to maybe 10 people, if that. So you just have to become creative, and again, all these different genres or of programming and content that they've put together, when it all came together, it was as if they were in front of thousands of people screaming and yelling their name, and that's where the artist needs that applause, and that's where the it's kind of strange right now, because you're not getting that applause, but you have to fake the applause. We're doing the iHeart Music Festival coming up again, another virtual situation. So everything's just stepping outside the box. What is a new normal? I hate that verbiage. I'm tired of hearing it. But what's the new approach? What's the new way of, not even a new way, just you got to become creative, and this is a new creative way of the evolvement of entertainment. It's like being an engineer. I don't mix the same way this year that I mixed last year or the prior year before that. So you gotta, stay ahead of the curve, or else you become extinct like the dinosaurs. So now, with this new way of broadcasting and performances, if you don't adapt, you're gonna get caught up in the sauce. So I, like myself, since I did come from the studio world, I've been able to hone back in on my studio thoughts and studio way of approaching shows and mixes per se, to keep myself busy, so that I can, be a part of these performances from a mix engineer perspective, as just except from just being a live sound. I'm going back into my broadcast world now. So it's been a good not transition, but just reigniting those ways of performance and work ethic, my workflow, because the live side versus the studio side are two different flows. So you have to. I'm just homing back in on where my roots started from.
Very cool. Well, good to see you staying active. Good to see you been spending some time in Brother Banks territory. I wonder if he feels like you've been encroaching on his space a little bit. Why don't we bring him out here next? Our
How
good
can I
Brother
encroach?
Banks.
How can you encroach
Approach.
on anybody when
What does
there's
that
so
mean?
much opportunity out here? California is huge. Now, if we came up to Amityville, where you are, you know, fuck around with Jaws and shit. That's we'd be stepping on your toes. But Cali is relatively large.
I see
Huge.
how it is. I see how it is. And I know Brother Banks isn't going to want to take you on. That's why I'm going to bat for him and saying, the church space is his, so you can, stay the fuck off. Make sure that Brother Banks get his. I mean, there's enough food on the plate that we can all eat. You don't need to be stealing his shit. I'm just
Well,
saying.
it's
You
called an
Fuck,
offering.
you can't say church space and fuck off in, in the same.
Yeah, you can't do that.
fucking ain't right. I can.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Matt Walt.
motherfuckers.
Mm.
I mean, he said, I live in fucking Amityville. What the fuck? I mean, at least I can go outside without, yeah, I don't know. Like the shit in California is fucked up.
Well,
Yeah.
your power was fucked up the other day.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Blah, blah, blah.
Hello?
Yes, I will take that hit to our listeners who wouldn't know this if not for you having a big fucking mouth.
Technically, listeners, this is take 2 of
Yeah.
this broadcast. This broadcast actually took place 2 days ago. Tuesday. No,
3
3 days
days
ago.
ago,
No, 3
actually.
days
It was
ago.
Monday. And I had been on Cape Cod, came home to do this broadcast a day early. My family stayed down there for an extra day. And we were 15 minutes in, right around where we are right now. And boom, the power went out for 3 hours. And yes, it's true. We didn't get it done then. Hopefully we'll get it done now. I mean, it's kind of wild because this is now episode number 31. That has not happened to any of us before. Maybe there was something about that episode, something karmic about that episode that meant Monday wasn't the day. But today it's Thursday the 30th. This episode should air next Tuesday, which will be August the 4th. And I mean, apparently today was the day, or at least so far.
Was that Jaws 2 or 3 where he bit the electric pole and shorted out the city?
Fuck if I know what you're talking
I don't know.
about.
I don't know. Which
You remember Jaws when he bit that pole when they tried to fight him and a whole power went out.
Okay.
You trying to play me? You trying to play me for real? You trying to play me? Okay, that was Jaws 2. Okay, I knew that should happen. So it happened in real life then. Okay.
Moving on, Brother Banks. This is your time that Kyle's encroaching on yet again. I just want to open the floor to you.
Oh my goodness.
Talk to us, Brother Banks. What you got going on?
How's it going? Well, you should know that I've got a tasty beverage in my hand.
Cocktails are back. I love it.
It has returned
Sip it slow.
probably just for today. I mean, it's been interesting. Since we first had our introductory recording and podcast, a lot has changed. I learned that I have a lot more patience than I realized. Being a father of a 7-year-old daughter. And when this whole thing happened, the school shut down and she had to come home. And every day we had to do the distance learning with lots of reinforced teaching at home. So that took up a lot of my time every single day. And, just trying to, because I'm gone a lot, I really kind of value this time more because I am gone so much and I don't get to spend as much time as I would like, with my daughter. So it's been amazing. It's been fun. It's been challenging. And, we've had a great time. And since, I've kind of jumped back into a lot of the church sectors that I've been away from for a while, I've been able to take her on some of the things that I've done. And it's been great, kind of showing her what I do. And, I mean, she sees it, from time to time when she goes to rehearsal, but to see me, kind of like in the mix and doing different things. And it's been great. We have conversations about it. So that's been fun. But I mean, mainly I've, just as Kyle, churches are really the only thing that's really going on right now. I have a few artists that have done, some in-home things. Like they've done some in-home broadcast and, some of the MTV, um, Disney stuff. There's been a few artists that have done some things from their homes and things of that nature that I've had to go in and actually set up a system, and we've had to purchase gear so they can do broadcasts from home and actually do a live stream from home. So that's been interesting, going into people's houses and kind of teaching them how to kind of be a little tech, themselves, to mix things and get things set up, because you don't want to be coming in and out of, people's homes. People are still, very leery about everything. So that's been interesting. A lot of video calls and, okay, what button is that again? What am I cooking up? What am I? Oh, it's this one right here. I label it that one. Okay. So that's been fun. And then the churches, I've been involved with a lot of churches. Not just mixing broadcasts and doing their live stream stuff, but installs, like major installs with a few churches here in Southern California. um, I've done a lot of video stuff. I've gotten into rigging. I've gotten into, you know, brushing up on my electrical chops. Wiring stuff. I mean, it's been the whole gamut. I've been doing everything. Website building. I mean, you name it, I've done it. Storage, offline storage, cloud storage, servers, networking. I've been jumping into all of it. Nothing I am straying away from. If I don't understand it, then I'm calling buddies, bringing in other people, reaching out to my contacts, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm just trying to stay busy, and really just trying to weather this storm. I mean, this is kind of unsure right now, especially in LA. I mean, it's really fucked up in LA. Like you mentioned, what phase are we on? I don't know what phase we're on in LA. We've taken 3 steps back and 1 step forward, and then 8 steps back, and I don't know what phase. I mean, it's out of control. But I've been doing my best just to help people that are needing help in this time. I've taken a lot of time to kind of mentor some people and talk to some people, and um, just encourage folks, because a lot of people are kind of hurting at this moment. And when you're working on the road, you don't get a chance to really, reach out to your colleagues and talk to people as much as if you're not on tour with them. So I've really trying to, taken the time to just encourage people that are struggling and figuring out stuff. And um, for one, I mean, the people who were trying to do, their EDD and stuff like that. My girl, she's been helping a lot of people with their EDDs. We've become like a resource center for a lot of people, walking them through the process and getting them certified, and getting through the call centers and all that stuff. I mean, it's just everything. Just trying to really just help as many people as I can with whatever resources or whatever things I have, my knowledge. And early on in the thing, and even just recently, I've had a few people that have taken their lives because of this whole situation. So I've really been trying to make it a point to touch base with people, and just be a positive person. And people hit me up on on Instagram and Facebook when I post stuff, and I try to dialogue and have these conversations, and just encourage people. And people ask, what you working on, what are you doing? And I just try to stay engaged, and even my colleagues, I try to put them on stuff when I'm doing things that require other people. I'm trying to keep us all going and keep us all happy and positive and money in the pockets and all that stuff. Because everybody wasn't able to get the EDD, everybody hasn't gotten a PPP loan or SBA or EIDL, all that stuff. So I'm just trying to be that conduit to be an encouragement to people who are struggling, put money in people's pockets, have these sessions where we kind of brush up on our skills and help people gain knowledge they didn't have before, or on all kinds of different things. um that's pretty much it. It's just been really busy for me, and I'm thankful for that. And it's just honestly, it's been good to be home and just spend time with my family, and to still get out of the walls when the walls start closing in, and to be able to work on these projects.
Those consultation fees are good too, aren't they?
consultations are serious, man. There's a consultation fee if we're having a conversation on the phone and I'm walking you through
Mm-hmm.
stuff. There's a walkthrough
Mm-hmm.
fee if I'm coming on site. There's a project manager fee. There's all different fees. There's all different stuff. I can't just pimp myself out for free. I gotta make sure that people respect my
See,
knowledge and what I'm bringing to the game. So
that's why they call you banks. That's what I'm talking about. Diversify your bonds.
you must diversify those bonds.
Oh, there it
And
is.
Matt always hating about trying to get your money. We should charge Matt for having us be his co-host.
There we go.
You should be paying me, motherfucker, for the opportunity. You're welcome. Fuck you.
We love you, Matt.
That's why Brother Banks is Brother Banks and Kyle is Mr. Motherfucker.
That's right. Don't fuck with me. I meet all this shit.
Oh, I'll fuck with you. What you gonna do?
I
What you
meet
gonna
all
do?
this shit.
Man, well, there's Mr. Motherfucker trying to steal Banks' time again, but
Not at
what
all.
else do?
It's all love. It's all love. Gotta keep it balanced.
Motherfucker.
That's it.
Well, Brother Banks, you're a good man. I'm sorry for your losses.
Yeah.
He has all gains. Where you hear the loss? Everything he
Nah.
said was about gain.
I was talking about-
Motherfucker, why don't you try and listen to what other people say instead of just talking all the time?
Yeah. Nah, we're talking about just lives lost. And
Oh no, I'm being,
yeah,
I'm just trying to.
yeah,
I had
I got
I mean, unfortunately, even though I talk not records, but I do talk heavily about this Corona stuff. I recently had my uncle's father-in-law passed because of COVID. He was 80, and this just happened the other day. So I mean, it's real. I mean, it's not a game out there, but like I said, people just do the little things to help curb some stuff from bringing it to your home. That speaks volumes. So it's real. It's a real virus out there, and it's jumping over the top turnbuckle and taking people out. So we just need to just be more sensitive to, especially the older generation out there, and making sure that they stay safe.
There it is. Well, that leaves the incomparable Christine Dallas yet to be introduced today. And Dallas is one of the best hustlers that I know. Again, I've talked about how I met her, the jobs that she has done, the ways we've worked together. And, as soon as I had an opening and could bring her on the road, I said, Dallas, please come with. Let's do this. You're amazing. So, certainly not least, as they say, last but not least, the incomparable Christine Dallas on the program today. How you feeling today, Dallas?
Well, I love talking to you guys, so I'm good like that. But I think I
Even
could,
motherfucker, really, all of
yeah,
us, just checking.
yeah, definitely. But I think I can echo some of the sentiment of Chris and Kyle, and that anger and frustration of this situation is real. And unlike our dear audio chaps, my specialties are not something you can necessarily pick up on at this time. There's no place of worship, so to speak, to go to. I was fortunate enough where one of my clients did need me for a private project, so that was a nice surprise and very much appreciated. But after those 11 days, that's about it, folks. So it's interesting. It's hard being, I'm in Miami, so we're now another hotspot. We seem to go through this cycle once before. Obviously, politics plays into this game. It's also, we're a tourist destination, and I think a lot of our local folks seem to have left town, and I think we've got a few people from out of town here, which I believe could perhaps affect this spike. But nonetheless, we have areas of the city that are in curfew, under curfew rather. We're taking it very seriously, or the city is. But, as for our livelihoods, today was nice to see the Live Coalition demonstrating in front of Mr. Rubio's office. Very necessary, so let's hope that does something. But I don't know. It's a real challenge, and at this point, I'm not feeling very warm and fuzzy about 2021 because from what I see, vaccine, no vaccine, all this nonsense, I think at the end of the day, until we get immediate testing results, where within 10 minutes or tops an hour, we should have an answer to know whether, we just can't move forward. I think as soon as we can get immediate testing, we'll be able to like open up the floodgates and get back to business. But I don't hear anybody talking about that. All I hear them talking about is, nutty doctors that have no qualifications talking all kind of crazy stuff. And then, everybody else arguing or politicizing this game. And I think for those of us who are living it, what I'm seeing is a lot of our brothers and sisters out there are taking it really hard. And I think coming into the fact that we're at about the 8th month of the year, it's really getting psychologically bad, and I think if we can, like Chris is doing, if any of us can reach out to others and help each other get through this, whatever and however that takes, we need to do it. So I do see some positive programming happening out there, but the reach, it's hard to get that reach. And I think, as is the nature of many of us that are in this business, we're rather independent people, and we're not very good about saying, hey, I need some help. So, but, I like to believe that we will get out of this, but I feel at this rate, I'm going to be 100 years old. And I don't know if I could do my gig anymore, but I'd like to think that something gainful will be seen, but it's hard. It's hard. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely hard, but let's also point out, Dallas, that you have spent 20 plus years on the road, and hard though it is, for the last 6 months you've been able to spend time with your family, take care of your house, do some things you haven't been able to do before. I know there's a silver lining here for you. Am I right?
I mean, I'm not the type to wake up and doom and gloom it, and I am going to take advantage of things. And absolutely, yeah, I'm fortunate enough that, my family's close and that I can help them out, because my parents are definitely in the category of concern. Yeah, absolutely. But it's also weird. I mean, I've never spent this many nights in the same place in my life, ever. Literally, in the many years I've been on this planet, never, ever. And that's a weird thing. And it gets to you after a while, no matter how much you like your house, or the person you're living in it with. I mean, I could really use be great to jump on a plane and go somewhere and speak a foreign language and eat some fabulously foreign food. And, I miss those things.
Well, I'm right there with you. These months of being here in the house with my family, Groundhog Day, every day. It's definitely a new experience, and I love my kids, and like Banks was saying, with my kids being home and having to try and be a parent teacher. I mean, he did better at that than I did. I am 100% sure about that. When he'd talk about it, sounded like he was engaged. His daughter was actively working. I can't say that my children were actively participating every single day to the capacity and to the extent that I wish they were. And frankly, I'm not sure that, well, part of me wishes, I suppose, that I was more engaged with that. But that shit's frustrating to me. This whole thing is hard. And Dallas, like you were saying about Chris and Kyle, for me, I don't have a specialty as an audio guy or anything like that. I'm not a video person, a lighting guy. I have friends that are, in all of those departments, all of those vocations that are gainfully employed with virtual performances and working in film and television on shows and programming lights and putting packages together for things that can happen in one form or fashion that is not viable for us. As a tour director, I'm used to putting these parts together. As a producer and a promoter, I'm used to running these live events, but we're not doing live events. So, I mean, for me, I guess that's part of what drives me, why I hustle the way I do. I'm a workaholic, and I struggle to balance my family time even now, to be honest, because man, maybe it's my fear that I don't have that specialty skill that drives me, but I mean, I've got a few clients doing live events. None of my bigger clients are really active. I was talking to an agent right before this podcast that reps one of my larger clients. I won't say whom because she joked. I threw an idea at her about something I thought that we should consider. And she said, Matt, you know he's not a good live performer. That's not a good idea. And I just cracked up. I was like, are you serious? You're his agent. And she said, he knows this. You know this. We've talked about this before. Putting him in front of camera is not the thing. And I was like, but I just want to get these guys working. I just want to figure out something that we can do. I mean, the good news is she was calling me because she had 3 other clients that are looking to do drive-in concerts, and hopefully those are things that I'll be undertaking. I do have a few clients, like I say, that are doing virtual events in some form or fashion where I'm buying and selling and putting the pieces together and doing what I do. I mean, I guess I am fortunate that I've found a number of other little things that I could work on, a couple of partners that I'm creating new alliances with for new business opportunities and possibilities with, other forward thinking ways of coming out of this coronacation. And with the assistance of Sam, who's been with me for a number of years, Sam Helm, who's otherwise known as Tech Support on this podcast, he and I have been building a boutique merch store, truemf.com. Kind of started as a joke. Chris and Kyle, everybody in Dallas, you know this. I mean, it was kind of the running joke. MF backstage at the shows. And I joked that I was going to do a couple of t-shirts, and then people started saying, where can I get that? Where can I get that? And we actually have a line of backstage apparel, a line of off-tour apparel, nice golf shirts and hats and things, and people are buying it. And we've got a couple of people that are out of work industry employees that are selling it and making money on a commission basis in order so they can be earning. And we're giving a portion of proceeds to concert industry professionals that are out of work through charitable giving. So trying to do right with that with True MF, and definitely appreciate the support we've received. And then I'm actually managing an act now, 3 young women, 14 and 12, 14-year-old twins and a 12-year-old sister. They go by Nora, Yara, and Rosa. They're a dance troupe from the Netherlands. Their troupe is called Let It Happen, and they've actually seen an incredible spike in their following online on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and they're getting television offers now. They did a Disney special recently. I'm curious what Chris did with Disney and if we actually indirectly overlapped on that. But it's kept me busy. It's been pretty awesome. We're looking at some film and television projects down the road. Who knows what'll come? But hopefully, it gives me the opportunity to get you on board, Dallas, and help with our backstage management. And maybe there's some room for my audio partners here, Chris and Kyle. Even Kyle, Mr. Motherfucker, who we joke, we like to mess around, and but it's all love. It's like I've said before. You get Kyle and me in a room together, we're like twins. People are like, "Are you guys related? You look alike." Am I right or am I right?
You're 100% right. 100% right.
100% right. And my brother Banks, Brother Banks, you're a good man, Brother Banks. Yeah.
I appreciate that. So
He's so good, you have no words.
I was trying to figure out how to relate the joke you were making before about Banks. Brother Banks, he's one of a kind. Are you kidding me? You put him in that robe and those slippers. You get him on that tour bus with his eucalyptus bag and all that shit. Like,
man.
This guy is living the life. There's no question.
Yeah, you got to treat yourself.
See,
I'm
that's
still
the other
learning
thing
how
we
to
miss.
treat myself. What's that, Dallas?
That's the other thing we miss. All our homies, all our crew, all our principals. I mean, it's a drag not seeing all our people.
Yeah.
Well,
Not hearing all the stories, not getting mad, not getting able to shout a little bit, express ourselves, do
I
that
mean,
thing
that's
that
part
we
of the reason
do.
we started doing this, right? I mean, that's part of the
Yeah.
reason we're here on this podcast. We get to have that interaction with each other. We get to bring out guests. We get to talk about, what it's like. We get to reminisce about the road. We get to think forward about what we want to do and where we want to be and the places that we'll go and the things that we'll do and making new connections and, hearing about interesting collaborative possibilities and all
And
of that.
watching kids lose their minds for the principals. It's good stuff, you know? I miss the crowds.
Oh, I miss the crowds. I miss the crowd so much.
I don't know if
That's
I miss security. Anybody miss security or catering?
Nah,
I'm, I'm
I always ordered out. I never pretty mess with catering too much.
no,
well,
I
come
miss
on. I mean, let's talk
Tada.
about some of the episodes we've done, though. I was gonna say, like Shelly Lynn and Tada. Like,
Yeah.
I look forward to the catering at Coachella. Straight up, I look forward to it. It's
That's
good.
certain events, but as a whole, I don't touch catering.
Sure, I
Yeah.
know, but I'm just saying, like, we've had some great guests here. We've talked about these things. Dallas, when you said the crowds, I mean, Meg Dieter made a reference to her favorite thing, just seeing that crowd and the way that, they that feeling that we get from knowing what we're doing and what we're bringing these people every day. I mean, that's what I love and that's what I look forward to. And yeah, those engagements. I mean, let's talk about some of the guests we've had. I mean, going back to the beginning, this thing, Mickey Kirbishley had such incredible insight about coming up in this industry, and Jim Digby with the Event Safety Alliance and what they're trying to do, and bringing us back to work safely. And I mean, Dave Bauman and the tech. I mean, that episode really blew my mind. And, just thinking about the tech aspect. And I can't wait to see what it's like when we're talking to people that are introducing 5G technologies and things like that. And
Here you go,
here
5G.
5G. I mean, but that was a good one. And Bobby Schneider, we had a lot of fun with Bobby. And you talk about, security, but Mason was great. Having Mason on the program was a lot of fun. And, again, like for me, this is why I'm so glad that we're doing what we're doing. We're having these amazing conversations. We're meeting people in different fields, the Larry and Beth from the Red Sox, and just talking to the Pyrotech team and Ian Simon, Adam Blackstone. It's, I feel like I should name check everybody at this point, but every single one of them has been great. And I'll tell you something. One thing that tech support, aka Sam, does for us
Woo-hoo.
is he logs all the things people would like to change about the industry. And I just think that this is worth pointing out that 75% of our guests, we've had all told 28 guests, including those episodes where we've had multiples. And out of those 28 guests, 21 of them have said, in reference to the things they want to change or do better in this industry, they've talked about crew health and wellness and mental stability and and just taking care of each other and showing appreciation for one another. 75% see that as the area that we need to focus on and change. Safety, sanitation, that was number 2. At a distant 25%. 75%, I'm going to say that one more time. 75% said the focus should be on crew health and wellness. Banks, what do you think of that?
That's accurate. I mean, we talked about it early on, with Digby and a few other people, and it's man, it's key. I mean, and when we talk about health and wellness, we're talking about financial literacy. We're talking about physical health, and but we're talking also about mental health. I mean, all these components are things that we kind of stray away from and stay away from in the industry, but a lot of people need to be educated on how to sustain themselves when they're off the road, how to make wise decisions financially so that you're not struggling, when you get off the road, that you don't leave all your money on the road. And, just practicing, just smart things to do when you're feeling down, how to reach out to people, how to talk about it, how to express your feelings, just and having that support system where people are responsive, and not just, oh yeah, 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 I hear you, but people who are actually engaging and concerned about, their brothers and sisters. We become family on the road. And, some people feel that they can't talk about certain things, or that they're just complaining. And it's like, nah, man, people all have their ups and downs. And it shouldn't be a taboo thing or something that we stay away from when people are dealing with depression, or people are dealing with addiction, or, all kinds of different things. If we're family, we should talk about it, and we should treat each other like family.
There it is. So, Dallas, shifting back to you, I mean, any moments from this podcast you want to bring up? Anything, any memories that you have that you want to share in terms of the things we've talked about, the people we've connected with?
Overall, I think it's been very interesting. It's great to hear people, explore their side and give them a platform that they can share their thoughts with us. I think, as you talk about, I think Dearson, for me, Patrick Dearson, that is, with the activity, a lot of what he said was near and
Is it
dear.
activity? Is it academy? I'm just kidding.
Activity.
I fucked that one up pretty good multiple times when he was
I
on.
was hoping
Shout
you
out-
would ignore that. Yeah. But really, no, it runs a gamut. From Marcus, who came to us from the Netherlands, it is a global problem. And I think it's been great to hear these movers and shakers that are in our industry, who may not be in the forefront, so may not be known to everybody, but they're the behind the scenes people. I think it's great to hear their perspectives. It's great to hear the charities and the Ashleys and the women who are making their way through the business, being younger and trying to find the path, so to speak, and having people like KD as mentors. I think all of this shows what kind of teams we are, and what truly makes us the people that we are, to build these cities and villages and, incredible, amazing experiences that we do for people. I'm all about the live performance side, and, to me, the bigger the show, the better. But yeah, it's, does one stand out totally? Nah, all of them stand out in their own special way, I guess.
Well, I appreciate that. I totally agree. Kyle, motherfucker, what do you got?
You know what, man? With the mental stability of people, touring and everything, it's real. Like I always talk about, not leaving money on the road, taking it home. But again, people have to learn how to be responsible. You come out here, you make great money, so to speak, considering the median income is. You can make that, what a person's monthly, that could be your weekly. So, you make real money out here on this road, and as fast as you make it, as fast as it can be lost too. So, just sometimes you need to pull your brother or sister aside and holler at them, let them know, this world that we live in is fast paced, but if you take advantage of your opportunity and again make your money work for you instead of working for the money, eventually you don't have to be, like, some guys in the industry should have technically timed out a few years past, but since they didn't make the correct decisions, in my opinion, they out here running around here on buses and everything, at 65 years old or older. You're like, yo, you should be chilling at this point. This is a young man's game per se. So, I mean, for me, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be out here at 65 years old pushing nobody's faders. I would have graduated and have my employees from Never See Productions out here rocking for me, and I'll be at home delegating, maybe fly in and out and check in on them. But I'm not jumping off a tour bus at 65 years old talking about, hey, what time is loaded. I'm not doing that. So, it's a great foundation. It's a great learning tool, and you can make a great career out of it. But it's grueling. This gig isn't for everybody. So you have to be smarter and work hard, but play harder. So I'm all about just giving that information to the younger generation so they can won't have to make the same mistakes that you or I could have possibly made. Fortunately, I was taken put under the wings of a few solid individuals that gave me that early on. So I'm not out here stressed even now, even though we're not touring or working like we normally are. I'm chilling. I'm not in a stressful situation, because you're not out here tricking your money off when you're making it. So, that's just my take on it and how to let it breathe. Like I said, let it breathe. Why stress about it? It's going to come back. You have other skills that you can do to keep your mind focused, to keep your mind sharp. Besides doing this church and everything else, I'm running around with my son, making sure he gets these tools instilled in him. He's doing Kumon. I run back and forth to Vegas to make sure that he's solid. So it's about passing it on and not just homing it into yourself. And because if we die with all of it in us, what do? We have to pass it on to the next generation.
There it is. Well, do you have any shout outs for us, parting shots that you'd like to extend? I'm going to go down the line and give everybody an opportunity that we give to our guests every week. What do you say?
I need to shout out Mr. Technology himself, Sam. He's our unspoken hero. Even though I put up the mix and everything, but he holds us down. He keeps all of our guests in check per se, giving them all the information they need to know to move forward to help us shine. He's part of the team. Without him, we would be trying to figure it out. And I'm not the one to be reaching out to people talking about this is what you need to do. This is what I mean. That's just not me. Everybody has a lane. And Sam, he's official. Give shout out to my family, my friends, my little son Austin T. He wears me out, but he makes me go harder so he can go hard eventually as an adult. So that's where Kyle T is, Mr. Motherfucker.
Motherfucker. And Brother Banks, any shout outs, parting shots for you?
I got to piggyback on what Kyle gave his first shout out was good brother Sam. Sam has definitely been an impressive figure on this podcast. Just listening to him really embody that role as tech support. And I'm like, wow, normally I'm used to being that person that's walking people through stuff and, giving them options. No, check this, check that. But just listening to Sam's knowledge is like, wow. Like even we were dealing with some issues in the early part of the recordings and, buffering and different things like that. I mean, some of the things that he was recommending, I was like, wow, I didn't think about that. I always appreciate somebody else who has that mindset and that understanding. And so, just the documents, I mean, the Google Docs, I mean, just everything, giving us the backstory so we know what we're going into. Sam is that guy, and I think we need to talk more about Sam. And of course, my family, I got to say thank you to them because even though I talk about, it being great, I've had my moments where I've been down, I've been depressed, I've been angry, I've been, the person that's like, okay, it's time for you to leave. You should be on a bus or a plane somewhere in a hotel. But they've definitely rode with me on my ups and downs and been patient with me, loved me, giving me my space, allowed me to disappear, take a long drive. And I have to say that they've been an amazing support system.
Very cool. Very cool. What about you, Dallas?
Shout outs. Well, of course, to Mr. Sam, who I enjoyed thoroughly working with him on this program. Of course, you all. And I don't know. I very much appreciate one of my clients who was willing to let me work this year. We'll keep his name out of it. But otherwise, I don't know. Who else do I want to shout out to? It's a short list. It really is. But it's a good list.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. I'm going to shout out.
I got to say, Sam, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention, Sam pays attention. I don't know if you guys, Sam pays attention.
Talking about Sam?
Yes, we're talking about Sam. Sam pays attention. Pays major attention. Sam blessed me with some bread. It was amazing. Let me tell you something. And it was funny because the first shipment what got delayed, to COVID and all that stuff. And, I showed him. He was like, oh, man. And so, I was like, oh, cool, man. I have a couple, things we can salvage from it or whatever. But another shipment came in. And let me tell you something. My family, we love bread. And just to hear him pay attention to that one little small thing that came up in a conversation and his attention to detail and sent that, we enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you.
Where is Sam? Is he here?
Well, slow down, motherfucker.
I'm just checking. I wonder where he's at.
He's listening intently to every word.
I am here.
Well, I was going to do my shout-outs before we brought him out, but now the cat's out of the bag. So I'm going to quickly shout out my family, especially my kids, Jocelyn and Noah. I'm going to shout out all of you motherfuckers. I'm going to shout out our listeners, as well as all our guests, past and future. But I'm also going to shout out Sam. And we did want to bring him out as a special treat to all of our listeners who have not met him. Introduce the hustler behind the scenes, the tech support we reference, the one that, is the crew to the guys that are used to be in the crew. And I hope that he is bawling his eyes out based on all the accolades been thrown on him. I'm a little pissed off myself. I haven't gotten any fucking bread. So we're going to have a little chat about that after the fact. But nevertheless, Sam Helm, talk to us.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
We're great, Sam.
I appreciate all the appreciation. I was trying to talk Matt into doing a podcast for probably like a year and a half before he finally said, I think I'm going to do this with these other three people. And I'm not going to lie, he picked pretty solid on the co-hosts.
What else you got to say, Sam?
So yeah, I was going to say it's kind of been a pleasure on my end because of the three of us, I've never actually been out with a tour. I end up doing road tech support when Matt's out or when another guy that we work with is out, giving them some of the resources that they need. So to hear from both, all four of your road stories and then to hear from some of these guests, like it kind of rounds out the picture of how I see the industry. And it kind of fills in some of the gaps and explains a lot more about like the general operational stuff that goes out. And once we finally get back to work, I think that I'm going to have a better knowledge of ways that I can continue to support you guys when you're on the road and do it better.
Well, there it is. Do you have any shout outs or parting shots for us, Sam?
I got to give a shout out to Abby, who is my wife. She's pretty dope. It's been cool hanging out with her during COVID. My family up in Maine is pretty great. My family here in Massachusetts is pretty great. And the four of you guys, because without a ton going on, it's been really nice to get to know the four of you and have conversations both on and offline. Yeah, that pretty much rounds it out.
There it is. Well, to our listeners, we appreciate you once again. And I think with that, we will sign off. I would only be remiss not to say, wear your fucking masks. And don't forget to vote. And hit us up on HLUB Podcast on Instagram, hustlelikeyouBroke.com. Sam also wants us to roll out a Patreon, which I'm warming up to. So we may be coming around to that before long as well. To those of you on our mailing list, you may hear something from him about that in the near future.
And if you're not on our mailing list, you should definitely subscribe.
Well, there it is.
You hear that radio voice? So powerful. He must have turned himself up.
Those are people with boom mics.
I think he sounds like he's on the night mix. Voice is just thunderous.
I definitely practiced before I started coming on.
Nice one.
There it is.
There it is. Well, on that note, thank you all, motherfuckers.